Hi.
Hello. It's my new office now, back at home. So no more Jets and Mets behind me.
Well, that's a little sad, but it's nice.
Something different.
Mary, are you the host?
Yeah, I don't know why I'm the host, but apparently I am.
Oh, okay, because we're recording right now.
Oh, okay. Should I pause it? All right, hold on. Let me just everyone knows that this is being recorded. I am Mary Fitzpatrick. I'm the Assistant Dean of the Career and Professional Development Center at Albany Law School. And I welcome you and congratulate you on being accepted into a fabulous law school community. I'm sorry that this is remote. I wish that we were meeting in person, but we want to try to give you as close to an in-person experience that you would have at the Career Center as you otherwise would have had. Before law school, I was an associate director with career development at Brooklyn Law School. And before that, I practiced commercial litigation in Manhattan. And I'm joined today by our whole team at the Career and Professional Development Center. We have on the line Joanne Casey, the director, Colleen O'Byrne, associate director, Meg Wager, assistant director, and Lee Mahak, our wonderful career assistant. You're going to hear from all of them today, and they're going to share with you a little bit about how the office works together collaboratively in order to support law students' success in career development. What we know from many years of our combined experience is that careers are long and windy. They're rarely straight, and they're based upon discovery, experiences, and relationships. We're gonna let you know how law school will help you build your skills to navigate and inform your career choices. So to get us started, we'd like to share with you a short video. It's about 11 minutes of some of our alumni who we asked to speak about their experience to give you a sense of what you can expect from working with our office. So with that, I'd ask if Ben could please play our video. Thanks.
Everybody just let me know that this is coming up for everybody and you can hear it. Also important. Thumbs up, good.
I don't hear it. I see it.
Volume is up. Anybody else having audio problems?
Yeah, I can't hear it either, Ben.
I can't hear it either, Ben.
Okay, let me just double check here.
Maybe when you share your audio from the computer.
Share computer sound. All right, here we go.
Hi, my name is Janito OConnor, and I am a graduate of the Albany Law and Union Graduate College Joint JD MBA program, class of 2014. I currently live in Manhattan, and I work at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center as a compliance program manager. My time with Albany Law was life-changing. It really helped mold me, and particularly working with the Career Services Center, I was really able to figure out what I wanted to do with my career after graduation, and I was able to find the best path for my joint degree. Everything from doing mock interviews to having my resumes reviewed and having access to other alumni, other classmates that had similar interests to myself. Having access to those resources really helped me really narrow down where I wanted to go next and gave me the confidence to really go after what I wanted.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Rayfest, and I'm a 2018 graduate. I'm currently a judicial law clerk for the Honorable Gary L. Sharp. Before that, I was an associate at a commercial litigation law firm in Manhattan, New York. The Career Center has really helped me to strategize and plan for professional opportunities and the many career paths that are available with a law degree. They are always available and more than willing to assist students, whether it be connecting students with alumni in the Albany Law Network, setting up on-campus interviews, or perfecting their resume. The relationships you establish during your time at the law school continue well beyond your 3 years as a student. Not only do they provide support to current students, but they're here to help alumni when making career transitions as well. I absolutely loved my time at Albany Law School and wish you all the best of luck as you make your final decisions.
My name is David Merson, class of 2001 from Albany Law School, talking to you from my study here in London, England. Welcome to the Albany Law School community. I hope you'll find your time at the school as enjoyable as I did. It was really, despite the hard work, it was a lot of fun. I made some great friends, and I'm sure you'll enjoy your time here at the school. Wanted to talk to you today about the career services offering at the school from my time back in, late 90s, early 2000s, which is a long time ago. During my time as a student, I had a few job placements, which I secured through the career office. I worked for the New York State Thruway Authority in their legal department, and then worked for a federal magistrate downtown Albany, which was a position I took for a year, which was really exciting. And I obtained that through the career office. Worked with the team on interview techniques and looking for jobs. They were always very supportive, and I know they helped a lot of my classmates secure roles both during their time as students, as internships and paid jobs for students, as well as for post-graduation, post-bar exam. I worked for a small firm in Rockland County, New York after I graduated, and then moved to London in 2003. I'm now a partner at a firm in central London called Gunnar Cook, where I specialize in real estate and real estate finance. And over the last 10 to 15 years, I've kept in contact with the team, and very often I'll have phone calls or emails with students who are considering internships or roles in London and are interested in relocating or possibly taking jobs for a period of time here in the UK. So they've always been very supportive, and I've always enjoyed staying in touch with the community and helping out the students where I can. So I wish you all the best and good luck with your studies here at the school. Take care.
Hi everyone, my name is Nolan Comfort, and I am a 2015 graduate of Albany Law School, coming to you live from my apartment here in New York City, where I currently work as an assistant corporation counsel for the New York City Law Department. The Career Center has been awesome in helping me achieve my goals as a law student and also as an attorney now here in New York City. Starting off in 2012 when I was just a 1L, the Career Center helped me develop my resume so that it was more marketable to the legal community, helping me obtain a summer internship, my 1L and 2L summer, and then ultimately helped me shape my goals and achieve those goals of becoming an attorney here in New York City by putting me in touch with attorneys at the Legal Aid Society here in New York City, where I started my legal career as a housing attorney. The Career Services Center is not something that just stops as soon as you end law school. To this day, 5 years later, I'm still in touch with the Career Services Center, keeping them constantly posted about my goals, my developing goals, and where I see myself going, from the next 2-3 years and beyond. The entire team at the Career Services Center, I really feel like has your back. And it's something that I think is really special to Albany Law School and something that really makes me value where I came from. And I wouldn't have it any other way. So congratulations to all you brand new accepted students, and good luck.
My name is Allison Bartlett. I am from the Albany Law School class of 2018, and I currently live in Rochester, New York, and I work at Harder, Seacrest, and Emory in the Environmental Land Use and Zoning Group. I worked with the Career Development Office a lot during my time as a student, and they were extremely helpful. I'm from the Albany area. I had lived in big cities between undergrad and going to law school, and I came back to the Albany area, knew that I wanted to stay upstate for my legal career, and the Career Development Office really helped me explore different markets upstate and open my eyes to see that there's more than just Albany and upstate New York. And so through the on-campus interview process, I was able to have interviews with firms in Buffalo, Albany, Syracuse, and Rochester. And ultimately, I went on several callback interviews and really fell in love with Rochester and the firm that I work with. And I'm really grateful for the opportunity and what the Career Development Office showed me about these different markets, because I wouldn't have otherwise ended up here today. And so I think it's a very useful and helpful group. And I wish you all the best of luck on your decision, and I hope to see you at Albany Law School in the fall.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sydney Taylor. I'm an assistant district attorney at the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. I graduated from Albany Law in 2018. And a few of the amazing things that the Career Services Office helped me with were working backwards from figuring out what I wanted to do and then the steps I could take to get there. That included things like doing mock interviews with people who had worked at some of the district attorney's offices downstate so that I could really get a feel for what those interviews would be like. They helped me with all of my career documents, from reading and editing cover letters to really helping me craft my resume to get it to a point where it was truly something that I was able to talk about in all of my interviews and kind of use the things on my resume as talking points in interviews. And then just helping us navigate the application and interview process itself, from when to get back to people who had interviewed you, how to send thank you emails, and how to really wrap things up so that your interview and application process were seamless from start to finish. So I cannot be happier with the services I got from Career Services, and it was truly one of the best things about my time at Albany Law.
Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Laroche. I graduated in 2010. I'm currently an assistant United States attorney in the Southern District of New York in Manhattan. Before that, I clerked for Judge Wesley on the Second Circuit, and I also worked at a law firm in New York, Milbank Tweed. Hoping to talk a little bit about the Career Center today and just tell you about my experience, which was fantastic. As someone who was the first lawyer in the family, I knew absolutely nothing about what to do in terms of pursuing a career once I got to Albany Law School, and the Career Center was exceptionally helpful on that front. So I have two examples come to mind. First, when I used the Career Center during my first year at Albany, when I had no idea what to do my first summer, they pointed me in the right direction to some potential internships, including with the U.S. Attorney's Office in Albany, which I luckily got as my summer internship, which really kind of started me down a path to being a federal prosecutor after working there, or after being at Albany Law School. The second thing that I recall is during my second year, when I was interviewing at various law firms in New York City and had basically no idea what I was doing. But the Career Center throughout the process was exceptionally helpful in terms of preparing for the interviews and also talking through what happened after the interviews to make sure you could improve and figure out where you went wrong, what went right. And I think that really helped me in terms of figuring out where to go post-law school and understanding kind of what the different options were, which for me, I really didn't know where I was going at that point. It was just helpful to kind of work through people who've been doing this for so long. So they've been exceptionally helpful to me. I'm grateful for all the assistance they provided me, and I think they're a huge resource for anyone who is going to Albany Law School to really take advantage of. So I wish you the best of luck, hopefully out of quarantine soon, and good luck at Albany.
Congratulations on getting accepted. My name is Brenda Badam. I'm an associate with Barclay Damon. Prior to that, I was an assistant district attorney with the Albany County DA's office. The Career Center is fantastic. I can't say enough about it. Even when I was in law school, they helped me throughout the whole time, mock interviews, and really just being a support system, especially coming from another state. They were amazing in my extended family. Now as an alum, I still keep in contact with multiple people of the Career Center and encourage you to do the same. I wish you the best of luck. Again, congratulations. Make the best of it. And if you need anything, my door is always open. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Janito OConnor.
Back to you.
Thank you so much, Ben, for helping with that. So I think what I hope that you were able to take away from that short video clip is that the alumni who spoke with us continue to stay in touch, continue to be available to all of our students for guidance and help. And the fact of the matter is that they're sort of the magic of the Albany Law School community and the secret to our incredible employment numbers. So you may have seen recently that the class of 2019 employment rate is 90%. We post all of our employment data on our database as we're required to do, but I thought it might be interesting for you to see a sampling of where our class of 2019 graduates went to work. So bear with me for 1 second as I share a very short PowerPoint to give you a little bit of information get from the website. So as you can see, the breakdown of our class of 2019 employment rate is 54% of our grads went to work for law firms. 7% went to work in business and industry, and those are JD Advantage positions. You might be familiar with that. 10% went to work in clerkships, and 29% began their careers in government and public interest positions. So here's a sampling of the employers from each of these categories. You'll notice, and you heard from our alumni, that our graduates go to work at firms all throughout the state and with national firms and with multinational firms. In this sampling, you'll notice that some of the firms are New York City, some Albany-based, Rochester, Boston, and as I mentioned, multinational. In terms of government, we really do have a monopoly on state government, which is amazing in terms of the advantages that it provides for our students and graduates. You'll notice that our 2019 graduates went to work for district attorneys' offices throughout the state. And in fact, we have a very established pipeline program from one of our clinics to district attorneys' offices. We've had students go to work for public defenders' offices, many in state, some out of state, as you see here, and of course, state agencies and federal agencies as well, in addition to the White House. In terms of clerkships, we have students take clerkships all across New York State, from the trial court level through to the appellate courts, and of course to the highest court in the state, which is the New York State Court of Appeals. We also have students accept clerkships with federal district courts and the United States Court of International Trade. All right, so now to give you a little bit of an idea of how that recruiting magic happens, I'm going to introduce to you Meg Wager, our Assistant Director for Employer Relations, and she's going to tell you a little bit about that process.
Sorry about that. I had a little trouble with the unmuting. Thank you, Dean Walsh Fitzpatrick, and congratulations. It's really a pleasure to meet all of you today. Again, my name is Meg Wager, and I am Assistant Director for Employer Relations. My area of focus is on the recruiting programs, as was said, Our recruiting services include an on-campus and off-campus interview program. The students have an opportunity through those programs to interview for opportunities with law firms, government agencies, public interest organizations, the courts, and also business and industry employers. And very often, actually, our alumni come back and participate as interviewers in these programs. We have a very strong alumni network of interviewers. Historically, we host over 70 employers who recruit from us through these interview programs each year. In addition to the interview programs, we also have the online job board, which allows us to post thousands of job opportunities throughout the year. During the interview season, we also host dozens of employers for information sessions where students have the opportunity to hear firsthand from organizations. They also have the opportunity to get a better sense of the culture of an organization to make decisions on applying. And again, we have alumni representatives that tend to return to the campus to actually speak on behalf of their organizations. And with that, I'll turn things back over to Dean Walsh Fitzpatrick and look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you so much for that, Meg. So as Meg mentioned, we have a really robust recruiting program, and many employers visit the campus simply to give you an idea of what it's like to work for them and to get you familiar with their business, law firm, or government agency. In addition to recruiting and employer information sessions, we do a lot of career education. And I'm going to now introduce Lima Hawk, who's our career assistant and who helps us to collaborate on all of those programs, to tell you a little bit more about them.
Thank you, Dean Fitzpatrick. Welcome, everyone. It's a pleasure to meet you all. My name is Lima. I am the Career Services Assistant at the Career Professional Development Center. I usually am situated at the front of the office where I meet students who come in to meet with their counselors, and I help answer any of their questions. As Mary said, I work with the entire office to create, launch, advertise career educational programs consisting of career panels, lunches, and networking receptions with alumni speakers. We held our largest networking reception, Career Connections, Pathways to Success, on January 23, 2020, which included 43 alumni representing 23 unique practice areas. In this reception, students met with alumni in the area of practice which they were interested in, and they received invaluable insight. We also, our office also partners with student affinity groups here at Albany Law School to put together career educational programs. In the past year alone, we collaborated with the Women's Law Caucus Group, the Health Law Society, the Business Law Society, the Labor Law Society, and the Intellectual Property Law Society. This is just an overview of the many programs we offer to students here at the Career Professional Development Center. And I'll turn things back to Mary. I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you so much, Lima, for that overview. It's really helpful. Of course, none of these programs would benefit our students if we didn't offer counseling and if we didn't help our students to navigate relationship building and career choices. So with that, I'm going to introduce Joanne Casey, our director at the Career and Professional Development Center.
Thank you, Dean Fitzpatrick. Welcome, everyone, and congratulations on your acceptance to Albany Law School. As Dean Fitzpatrick mentioned, my name is Joanne Casey, and I am the director of the Career and Professional Development Center. To give you a little sense of my background, I hold a master's in counseling from the College of St. Rose, and I've been at Albany Law School with the Career and Professional Development Center since October of 1993. And I can tell you honestly, it has been a privilege to work with students and graduates over the last 26 plus years. Prior to coming to Albany Law School, I worked for a large undergraduate institution here, college in the Capital Region. And one of my favorite things about Albany Law School is our size, is our small size that gives us a true sense of community. We get to work directly with students, and we get to know you, and you get to know us, and we develop those long-lasting relationships that you got to see and hear from our alumni just moments ago. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about our counseling services. Each of you will be assigned your own career counselor who will work with you over the next 3 years. We'll start working with you right during your first semester, and together we'll develop a career plan that we'll take through and reevaluate and look at over the 3 years. Our goal is that each semester you begin to gain experience, starting with your first year summer and every semester thereafter. And experience can take the form of internships, field experiences, clinics, moot court, journals, and we'll get you ready for all of those. As you heard from our alumni, we'll work directly with you on your resume, your cover letter, mock interviews, your job search, really anything that you need. And everyone at the Career Center is excited to take this journey with you, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. So as you've heard, our office really takes a holistic approach to student development. We work collaboratively across the campus. We include partners from student affinity groups to the Office of Student Affairs and of course the Alumni Office in building relationships that you can then rely upon to launch your careers. And so now I'd like to introduce Colleen O'Byrne, our Associate Director, to talk about her background in counseling and how we work within our community to create collaboration.
Thank you, Dean Fitzpatrick, and it's such a pleasure to see all of you today, and congratulations. As Dean Fitzpatrick mentioned, my name is Colleen O'Byrne, and I have been working at the law school for over 5 years as the Associate Director of the Career and Professional Development Center. I have a background that is entirely in higher education, and my master's degree is in counselor ed from Penn State University. And I've been really fortunate that I have worked with students from around the globe throughout my career. Students who pursued careers in almost every single profession, including law and architecture and medicine and engineering and the arts and humanities and business. And what I'm excited about when I work with this population is that drawing on this experience, it's helped me to meet every student where they're at. So part of our goal in working in the Career Center is to help foster professional identity formation, including helping students with self-awareness and skill building and the confidence needed to make informed decisions. One aspect of the law, of Albany law that I really appreciate is the sense of collegiality and the collaboration that exists within our community and that also extends beyond our campus. For example, our office is committed to helping students identify diversity internships and partners with state and county bar associations to promote programs and opportunities for students beginning in the first year. In fact, we're actively committed to campus-wide diversity and inclusion initiatives. And as career counselors, we share opportunities with students and help them prepare applications for diversity internships, fellowships, and scholarships. And as a staff, I think you probably have already sensed this, we care deeply about helping students and especially in helping them to develop sustainable and professional relationships. And I think throughout our collective experience, we are committed to educating, counseling, and preparing all of our students to become resourceful, flexible throughout their entire career. I look forward to meeting with you, and I wish it was in person, but it will be soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Colleen. And so I think that what I'll do is just conclude really briefly and then open up for questions that you can either post in the chat, I'll keep an eye on that, or just raise your hand or just shout out, right? So we can answer any questions that you might have about what we've shared with you today and questions that you may be coming into law school with. I think that the benefit of having such an experienced office is that we have learned how to adapt and be resourceful and provide our students with insight and skills in both wonderful markets and not so wonderful markets. And what you're going to gain from a law school education is that flexibility, that ability to think and problem solve for yourselves and for others as you take on the role of counselor, hopefully one day, right? And advocate. So with that, I will open it up for questions. I'm looking to see if I have any raised hands.
I have a question.
Sure.
If I'm a brand new student, kind of what, and I'm walking into the Career Center for the first time, what can I expect? What are some of those services that I'm maybe not even thinking of? Like, I know some of the alumni were mentioning like resume writing or interviewing help. Like, how does all this work if I'm just walking in the door for the first time?
It's a great question, Ben. Thank you for asking it. So the way it works in terms of the process of onboarding our students is that we generally allow our first year law students to become acclimated to the rigors of their classes before we engage. But we do assign each student a career counselor from the time that they walk into or enroll in law school. And then in around October, you will be invited to meet with your counselor by setting up an appointment. We use a database called Albany Law Link. That's where we allow students to schedule appointments and eventually apply for jobs through that. In your first meeting with your career counselor, you begin to work on what Joanne mentioned, which is an individual career plan. The individual career plan really is a jumping off point. It's a point to do some self-assessment, for us to get to know each other, and to start thinking about the goals of your first summer as a law student. After that initial meeting, we then follow up with advice on how to perfect your resume. And then we meet again to review that, assess any changes, and then come up with a plan for what employers you may want to target during your spring semester for your first summer. So that's sort of the nuts and bolts of how our office first engages with law students. And I think it's really worth repeating what Colleen said, which is what we meet students where they are. I was a first generation law student. First generation in two respects. I was the first person in my family to go to law school. I'm also a first generation immigrant from an immigrant family. So what that means is I had zero familiarity with how law school worked and what I could expect and gain from my law school education. I think, frankly, that that's probably why I'm driven to do the work that I do now. I want to make sure that every student who walks through our doors, no matter where they are starting off, is informed and has information and opportunities available to them. And really that is the underlying message throughout all of our work and what a student can expect from our office. So now if nobody has, oh, I see, is there something in the chat from Dean Mangione?
So hi, my name is Burke, everybody. Dean Mangione's question actually sparked a question for me. So I'm interested in, I'm also, nobody in my family has ever gone to law school before. So I think I'm interested in more of the corporate side and being in-house for a larger company. Can you guys kind of speak to that a little bit, please?
Sure. And I invite my counselors to chime in here too, because I don't want to be the only one speaking. So Burke, in terms of your interest in corporate law, right? Depending on the complexity of the type of practice, much of that work is done by larger law firms, right? So larger law firms, if you've done any reading, and of course, everything should be taken with a grain of salt, but usually they recruit students during a student's first year of law school. So that's what Meg was talking about in terms of our recruiting programs. We host recruiting programs during your first summer, and then typically a law firm with a significant corporate practice will hire you for your second summer. And then from that second summer experience, many students will get an offer for postgraduate employment from that law firm. It's sort of their trial, right?
Okay.
And then if you're interested, and this is very general, Burke, so we'd work out of an individual plan for you, right? If this continues to be your interest. But generally speaking, going in-house first requires some kind of law firm training, typically because in-house legal departments are smaller. And so they don't often have the bandwidth to train new attorneys. Right? So they like to hire out of law firms because then they know that they're hiring someone who already has experience. Now, I will say that this trend has changed. It has changed in the last 3, 4, 5 years, where we're seeing corporations grow their legal departments because they don't want to pay outside law firms for the cost of their services. And as a result of corporations growing their legal departments, we're starting to see students get hired into those legal departments right out of law school. In fact, I was going to include another slide, but slides can be boring, so I didn't. I was going to include another slide of business and industry employers who have hired law students to go in-house directly. And we are seeing that to trend up a little bit.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome. Great question.
I was going to say that too, Dean Mangione. I think, Abby, you had a question about summer funding. Abby had asked the question about what summer funding opportunities are there for students since some of the first-year summer positions are unpaid. So I can answer that if you'd like, Dean Fitzpatrick.
Sure.
So Abby, so there's work study funding. We also put together a list of resources. The law school, we offer several scholarships and stipends for our students. Equal Justice Works is another entity that offers summer funding, and we put together a handout along with Student Affairs on all the summer funding opportunities that are available.
The other place to look is our local bar associations often have funding depending on your practice area interests. There are several that I can think of off the top of my head that will work with you if your interests match up in identifying those as well. So I'm going to actually ask a question and see if anybody would like to share. Anybody want to share why they're enrolling in law school?
I guess I'll talk here for a second. I just basically have an interest in governmental law. I'm not very certain yet on exactly what, but I guess that's what the law school experience is going to bring. I'm very comforted. I don't really have a question, but I'm comforted to know that we are assigned a personal career counselor first semester, first year. That's something that's going to help a lot to shape and guide where I want to take my career as this progresses. So this was a very informative meeting, and I just wanted to tell everybody I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for that, Wayne. And you are in the right place if you are looking to pursue a career in government. like I said in the introduction and also through the slides, we really do have an incredible alumni network, and we have a very deep relationship with state government. In fact, I think it was last year when the New York State Attorney General's office came to recruit, they told us that the New York State Attorney General, which has offices all over the state, has more Albany Law alumni than any other law school in New York. And I thought that was really impressive and a testament to the great job that our professors do who teach government law classes. I, for one, had no opportunity to learn about how the government worked in law school, which really seems crazy now, but, but you certainly will at Albany Law.
So to answer your question, for undergrad, I did it in 3 years, and because I really wanted to just get out, but I also think I kind of shorted myself on more I mean, I still got a bachelor's degree, obviously, but I think I shorted the time, and I have, you know, the drive still, and I think that law is very interesting because it's the backdrop and the rules of how everything works. So if you understand the rules of how everything works, you kind of have a one-up on a bunch of people, and more importantly, you can help everybody who can't understand how everything going on in the background is working. So at this point, it's just to be more educated overall and see where that takes me.
I think, Burke, there is a deep value in exactly what you are describing, particularly, I think, at this point in our history. You know, you're exactly right? The law is the foundation of our democratic society, and to be able to understand it well and really contribute to the public good with your law degree, hopefully one day, in whatever capacity that is truly a wonderful endeavor. And your law school education is never going to let you down. It is something that even if you practice, if you don't practice, as a thinking, active citizen, you will always be able to rely on what you learn here. That's great. 3 years undergrad, my gosh.
Yeah, I just took a bunch of summer classes and winter classes. Yeah.
Right, well, we're gonna have to get you some good experience when you start out so we can make sure that you're getting the experience to choose the next few stages, right?
Absolutely.
So, Dean Fitzpatrick, if I might, for just a moment, I want to say hello again to our admitted students. Thanks for joining us today. And I want to say thank you for contributing to the conversation and for being willing to sort of open yourselves up and share. It really does help us do what we need to do to help you. And one of the things that occurred to me as I was sort of asking you, sort of share what is it that's on your mind, I remembered back to when I was sitting in a similar seat as yours when I was considering law school. I also was first generation college student, let alone law student, certainly didn't know any lawyers. And I could fall into this trap where everyone seemed to feel like, am I supposed to know right now what's going on? Am I supposed to have it all figured out? Am I supposed to be coming to law school for a purpose or for a specific career track? And I want you to know it's okay that if you're exploring, many students explore, and as it's already been touched on, that some of that exploration and some of that flexibility is actually a big benefit to you later. You don't have to have all of your eyes on one prize, and that's fine. But you're going to get asked this question a lot along the way in the coming months and years and semesters of what are you interested in? What are you thinking about? So I really want to push you a little bit to, not that we're saying it because you have to have answers to the questions, you have to be thinking about them. And if you talk about it and you let us know, then we can help you flesh that out. Certainly your first year of law school is going to expose you to a lot, and that will help you sort of see which classes are resonating for you, which types of learning that you're exposed to. But one of the things that I wish I knew then that I know now is that figuring out what you want to do with your career is not always about substantive content. So it always seems to people, they want to jump to, well, I'm interested in, criminal law, property law, tax law. But sometimes those are just the substantive areas. But what can also be very helpful is what you like to do with your time, how you envision your career, where do you want to spend your time, who do you want to interact with. So is that behind the scenes, working in the sort of judicial side of thing, in a legislative lobbying side of things? Are you into reading and writing? Do you want to work closely with smaller, sort of with clients one-on-one, maybe like a family law mediation style thing? Do you want to be a litigator? Do you want to be in the courtroom arguing your cases, whether at a trial level or on an appellate level? Those types of things are a very different day, right? You get up to go to work every day, or stay in and work every day, as the case may be. But how you spend your time is also a big part of the conversation. And I just remember for me, when I started exploring, that wasn't always raised in the beginning. So I'm offering it to you, just whether or not it sparks any conversation today, that as you go forward, be thinking about how you like to spend your time and how you envision your career unfolding, not just in the type of law, but the way that you want to sort of interact and go about the world. So that's something to also think about, and I hope that you find it helpful. It certainly was to me, and I think once that light bulb clicked, certainly the conversations got broader and the opportunities seemed to open up, and I no longer felt so scared because I didn't have it all figured out and I didn't know what I was supposed to have all the answers to. So I just offer that in the case that anybody's feeling a little bit intimidated or stymied. There really is no wrong answer, just explore it all. So thank you for indulging me.
No, that's great. That's great advice. And actually it highlights how students work individually with their career counselors, right? So what we encourage very much at the Career Center is having a growth mindset and being reflective in terms of working with your career counselor to sort of try things on, finding experiences that will allow you to try those things on, and not being afraid of failing. We know that you are, I think probably 80% of our students come in thinking they want something and then learn that it's not actually what they want to do. And that's why we work so closely with you, because navigating that process is really the crux of figuring out your career plans. That's the purpose of our individual career plan. That's the purpose of meeting with us at least once a semester, assessing, being open, flexible, and learning from your experiences. I noticed that we have in the chat a question, and I don't want to not answer your questions. So from Andrew, how does one prepare for applications to judicial clerkships? Okay, so first at the outset, I'd like to just distinguish between judicial internships and judicial clerkships, just to make sure we're all on the same page. First-year students often seek judicial internships. Postgraduate positions are called judicial clerkships. And so in terms of the question, when you apply for a clerkship at probably the end of your second year of law school or the beginning of your third year of law school, you will have ideally 3 different experiences on your resume. And clerking is an incredibly research and writing intensive experience. So you'll want to think about getting research and writing experience through your internships, perhaps being on a journal or law review. And you're going to highlight those experiences on your resume and in your cover letter. And you're going to send out your applications with the guidance of our office to all of the judges in the area, geographic area in which you're interested. I mean, that is a very sort of, you're welcome. That's a very sort of 10,000 foot view of the process. But my feeling is, let's talk about your first summer before we talk about postgraduate positions. And so we're happy to do that with you in the fall when we're all hopefully back together.
So I I have another question. I noticed that there are concentrations as well. This is kind of leaning towards, like, let's say down the road, I'm through my first year and I decide, you know what, business is for me. I want to do a concentration. At what point in time is it too late or too early to definitively say this is the path I want to go down?
I don't think it's ever too late.
Okay.
Ever too late. I think that in terms of concentrations are great in the sense that if you really feel pulled to a specific area of interest, it allows you to choose courses that are related to that area of practice. But I would say that it's not necessary to concentrate. If you are organically choosing courses that fall within a concentration, terrific. Go ahead and get the concentration. But if you should choose in your third year to pursue something that you didn't concentrate in, that's perfectly okay, because a law degree is broad enough, right? It's broad enough to allow you to transition because you would focus on the transitional skills, right? The research, the writing, the analysis. Those are the things that you would highlight no matter what the practice area is. And then if you get an added concentration, good for you, kudos. But don't stress over not doing it or doing it too late.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, well, I want to be mindful of time, but we have a few more minutes. Anybody else with questions? How's everyone doing with remote? Is anybody finishing up undergrad right now remotely, and how's that going? You're all done.
I'm finishing remotely, but I've been an online student for years anyway, so it's absolutely no change for me.
Well, lucky, I guess. And you like it, Wayne? It works for you? Yeah. Good. Good. You're already ahead of the game. I think this is going to be the new normal, both in school and work.
Actually, Dean Fitzpatrick, I had one more question. For the internships and clerkships and everything, what's the evaluation like for that when it comes to both the Career Center and then wherever you are placed or wherever you are working? How is that evaluated at the end of the summer or semester or something like that?
Okay, so great question. I think then what you're referring to is if a student takes a summer internship for credit, is that right? And then how is that evaluated? Okay, so many first-year law students will take their first summer for credit through our Summer in Practice program. The Summer in Practice program does have some course requirements to meet with a professor remotely once a week. I believe they're asked to turn in perhaps some reflections and a journal, and then they're given reviews by their supervising attorney in the field. And so we're not involved in the assessment portion of that. That's actually handled by the director of field placements if it's an internship during the semester, and it's handled by the professor who's managing the Summer in Practice program if it's an internship over the summer. But that's if the experience is being taken for credit, then that is how the assessments are done. And I think it's a great question. I often get the question from first-year students about whether it's advisable to take their first summer for credit, or if they should just volunteer, or if it's an organization with which we have a work-study contract, should they do it for work study? And I think that in many cases, taking a first-year internship for credit is beneficial if the student is intending to participate in moot court or journal during the fall of their second year. because what it does is it reduces the credit load requirement for your fall semester of second year, and it allows you to explore those other things. So oftentimes we'll have first year students take their summer for 4 or 5 credits instead of opting for work study pay. There's a lot of different puzzle pieces that go into it, a lot of different considerations. And I guess I would just end by saying that's why it's so important. And that's why we have these relationships with alumni, because receiving the guidance every step of the way and doing the assessment after your experiences and reflecting is really what makes the magic happen. That's what leads to fruitful and satisfying long-term career choices. As I said at the beginning, careers are long and windy and very rarely straight. So with that, I will end our program perhaps a little bit early unless anyone has an additional question. Okay. Does anybody? Dean Mangione, any final words of wisdom?
No, I just want to thank everybody, both our students and all of our funder, our wonderful staff, and thanks for putting this together for us. Appreciate it.
Our pleasure.
Bye, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.